Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. Let's start with our top story. The second phase of the West Bengal election 2021 concluded amid reports of sporadic violence in some constituencies. Over 80% voters exercised their franchise in this election. The polling was peaceful in Assam as a significant number of voters came out from home and cast their votes in 39 assembly constituencies. In the second phase of the Assam election 2021, over 73% of 73.45 lakh voters exercised their franchise. Addressing an election rally at Kokrajhar in Assam, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this assembly election is between those who have been misleading people and those who are working for the development of Assam. He said Congress has divided the society, whereas BJP is striving hard for harmony in the society. PM held Congress party responsible for continuous violence in Assam and said NDA gifted peace and honour to people in the state. PM Modi addressed an election rally at Jayanagar in West Bengal. PM said BJP's strong start in the first phase of elections makes it clear that the party will get more than 200 seats in Bengal. PM Modi also addressed an election rally at Uluberia in West Bengal. PM said people of Bengal have decided to bring BJP to power in the state and people of Nandigram have fulfilled this dream today. PM added that people are not just participating in polling, they are paving the way for renaissance in Bengal. Slamming TMC chief Mamata Banerjee in the same rally, PM Modi said sometimes Didi calls him a tourist and sometimes an outsider. He took a jibe and said Didi considers infiltrators as her own but calls children of Bharat Mata as outsiders. Union Home Minister Amit Shah held a roadshow in Lospet constituency at Saminathan in Puducherry. The assembly elections in the Union Territory will be held on April 6th. Union Minister and BJP leader Amit Shah addressed an election rally in Tamil Nadu wherein he said that DMK and Congress have become synonymous with corruption. BJP President JP Nadda, who is campaigning in Kerala, said BJP has been able to increase its vote share from 5% to 17%, but this time with the blessings of people in Kerala, party wishes to have a big leap in the assembly election. Addressing a rally in Pathanamthitta, Kerala, UPCM and BJP leader Yogi Adityanath said Muslim League Congress alliance is a betrayal to Kerala's safety. DMK President M.K. Stalin addressed a public rally in Mettupalayam in Tamil Nadu. The leader interacted with the people as the poll-bound state gears up for the elections. Election Commission has issued show cause notice to BJP leader Himanta Biswa Sarma for allegedly making threatening remarks against Bodoland People's Front leader Hagrama Mohilari. DMK's A. Raja has been banned from campaigning for the April 6 Tamil Nadu election for 48 hours by the Election Commission, which called his remarks against Chief Minister E. Palaniswamy obscene and against the dignity of motherhood of women. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat today launched the Joint Logistics Node at the Western Naval Command in Mumbai by video conferencing. The nodes are part of the steps towards integrating the three services. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today participated in the 17th BIMSTEC ministerial meeting via video conferencing. In his address, Dr. Jaishankar said the region is witnessing rapid economic growth with growing economic and political cooperation among the member states. Veteran actor superstar Rajnikanth will be honoured with the prestigious Dada Saheb Phalke Award for the year 2019. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar made this announcement today. The award will be given on 3rd of next month. Speaking on the achievements of Rajnikanth, Information and Broadcasting Minister said that he is an iconic actor who has ruled the hearts of Indians for over 50 years. The minister congratulated the legendary actor on the achievement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Rajnikanth after he was conferred with the Dada Saheb Phalke Award. Rajnikanth too thanked Government of India, PM Modi and Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar for conferring prestigious Dada Saheb Phalke Award on him. He dedicated it to all those who have been part of this journey. The government has withdrawn orders related to the changes in the interest rates of small savings schemes. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said interest rates on small savings schemes will continue to be at the levels as in March 2021. The government has extended the last date for linking of Aadhaar number and permanent account number or PAN up to 30th June this year in view of the difficulties arising out of COVID-19 pandemic. The centre had extended the deadline to 31st March 2021 from the previous deadline of 30th June 2020 because of the pandemic. BSE, Sensex and NSE Nifty ended higher on Thursday amid broad-based buying. The BSE Sensex reclaimed 50,000 while the Nifty 50 breached 14,850 levels. The Sensex closed higher by 520 points or 1.05% at 50,029 and the Nifty settled at 14,867, up 176 points or 1.2%. A fall of Rs 25 was observed in the rates of per gram 22 carat gold, which stood at Rs 4,337 on Thursday, April 1st, compared to Rs 4,362 from the previous day. On Thursday, silver rates too went through a nominal fall. As for 10 grams of the metal, the rate decreased by Rs 7 to Rs 632 from Rs 639 on the previous day. Despite the COVID challenges, Indian Railways closed the financial year 2020 and 2021 with record freight loading. In the closing month of this fiscal year 2020 and 2021, Indian Railways surpassed the last year's loading, that is 1232.63 compared to last year's 1209.32, which shows the growth of 1.93%. The Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, has released an amount of Rs 11,830 crore to states under the scheme Special Assistance to States for Capital Expenditure. The scheme of Special Assistance to States for Capital Expenditure was announced as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat package. The scheme is aimed at boosting capital expenditure by the state governments who are facing difficult financial environment in the year 2020-2021. 8 states, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Punjab, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh continue to show a steep rise in the COVID-19 daily new cases. 84.61% of the new cases are reported from these 8 states. 72,330 new cases were registered in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra has reported the highest daily new cases at 39,544. Maharashtra is followed by Chhattisgarh with 4,563, while Karnataka reported 4,225 new cases. India's total active case load has reached 5,84,055. It now comprises 4.78% of the country's total positive cases. A net incline of 31,489 cases recorded from the total active case load in the last 24 hours. 5 states, namely Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Chhattisgarh and Punjab, cumulatively account for 78.9% of the total active cases in the country. Maharashtra alone accounts for more than 61% of the active case load of the country. More than 6.5 crore vaccine doses have been administered through 10,86,241 sessions as per the provisional report till 7 a.m. today. India's cumulative recoveries stand at 1,14,74,683 today. The national recovery rate is 93.89%. 40,382 recoveries were registered in the last 24 hours. 459 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. 6 states account for 83.01% of the new deaths. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties, 227. Punjab follows with 55 daily deaths. Centre has decided to operationalize both public and private sector COVID-19 vaccination centres on all days of month of April from today till 30th April 2021. The centre has written to all states and UTs today and asked them to make necessary arrangements. More than 12 crore 95 lakh people worldwide have contracted COVID-19 so far, while over 10 crore 44 lakh have recovered from the virus. The deadly virus has so far claimed more than 28 lakh 30,000 lives globally. The United States remains the worst affected country by coronavirus. The country has reported more than 3 crore 11 lakh COVID-19 cases, 5 lakh 65,000 deaths have been reported in the US so far. Europe's medicines regulator has said it had not yet identified any risk factors such as age, sex or a previous history of blood clotting disorders for clotting cases reported after inoculation with AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer Inc. and BioNTech SE have said that their COVID-19 vaccine was safe and effective and produced robust antibody responses in 12 to 15-year-olds. Nigeria hopes to receive up to 70 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine this year through the African Union. Yemen received its first COVID-19 vaccines yesterday, a week after the internationally recognized government declared a health emergency in areas under its control. President Emmanuel Macron has ordered France into its third national lockdown and said schools would close for 3 weeks as he sought to push back a third wave of COVID-19 infections that threatens to overwhelm hospitals. Italy has imposed a mandatory 5-day coronavirus quarantine for people arriving or returning from trips to European Union countries until April 6th. Spain tightened mask rules from yesterday, making them mandatory in outdoor spaces like beaches and swimming pools, even if people follow the 1.5-meter social distancing rule. Poland seeks to ease pressure on hospitals in one of its hardest-hit regions as COVID-related deaths hit a 2021 record. Sweden will postpone a planned easing of some COVID-19 restrictions until at least May 3rd, but tougher measures to get to grips with the surge in new infections are not needed at the moment. 7 prominent Hong Kong Democrats, including media tycoon Jimmy Lai and father of democracy Martin Lee, were today found guilty of unauthorized assembly on 18th of August 2019. Another mass shooting rocked the United States, 4 reported dead, 2 wounded in mass shooting south of Los Angeles. US President Joe Biden on Wednesday outlined a $2.3 trillion plan to re-engineer the country's infrastructure over the next 8 years. US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry will be visiting India for consultations on increasing climate ambition ahead of Joe Biden's Leaders Summit on Climate. The European Commission on Wednesday took the Polish government to the EU's top court for undermining the independence of judges and preventing them from applying EU law in Poland. The famous pink cherry blossoms of Kyoto have reached full bloom this year. It is the earliest on records in about 12 centuries. The phenomena has left scientists across the world wondering, as they are calling it unique across the world, an indicator of climate change. According to the scientists, the temperature rise and climate change has affected cherry blossoms to bloom faster nationwide, but said it could also impact its growth as winter temperatures have risen and could hinder hibernation. Cherry blossoms have long historical and cultural roots in Japan. Forest officials in India's Gir National Park have set up over 450 artificial watering points to give thirsty lions respite from soaring temperatures as a heat wave grips the country. The artificial ponds and troughs are filled by a variety of methods, including hand pumps, and by using solar and wind energy. Around 600 Asiatic lions live in the 850 square mile national park and sanctuary in India's western Gujarat state. An endangered spectacled bear was released back into the wild in Colombia after a year-long medical treatment by the vets. This bear, called Pennsylvania, was rescued in January 2020 and received treatment for malnutrition and dental fractures. The bear was estimated to be 10 years old and weighed some 30 kg upon rescue. Pennsylvania was released into a national reserve, a protected site for Colombia's rich fauna and flora. In Britain's the beach front in Southend-on-Sea thronged with locals and visitors from out of town as many took advantage of a wave of warmer weather. The spring heat wave saw temperatures in southern England reach up to 24 degrees Celsius on Tuesday and Wednesday, offering a brief respite from a long winter spent largely under a government-imposed coronavirus lockdown. Spaniard Aniol Sarasolsis descended a snowy mountain in his kayak before reaching a river where he performed a world first flip of a waterfall. Reaching speeds of up to 100 km per hour, Sir Olses steered his way down the 25 km long stretch which forms part of the Villa Rica volcano in Chile after overcoming a crash that flung him 10 meters through the air during a practice run. After moving on to land, the Spanish kayaker slalomed through the forest and navigated his way down rapids before landing a first ever double kickflip down a waterfall. Germany's Environment Minister Julia Klöckner has opened the Federal Center for Grazing Animals and Wolves in Eberswalde, Brandenburg. On this occasion, she visited the shepherdess Karina Vogel on her pasture. The center aims to improve the coexistence of wolves and grazing animals through various measures. The new center is intended to promote the dialogue between grazing animal owners and associations that campaign for the protection of wolves. In addition, protective measures for herds are to be optimized and funded in this area expended. Facing severe drought as it enters its hottest season, Thailand has launched major groundwater operations in the most arid parts of its central, north and northeast regions to tap sources deep beneath the soil and guarantee its future supplies. The Department of Groundwater Resources of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment has dispatched geologists and more than 80 teams equipped with deep ground drilling machinery in recent weeks to regions typically hit by shortages, with water levels too low in dams and some areas not catered for by irrigation networks. Process-etched in mysterious abundance across the walls of Christianity's most sacred church were long assumed to be graffiti, but they may be the work of medieval masons paid to carve them by pilgrims, research suggests. In coordination with the Armenian Orthodox Church, which controls the chapel, the scholars used digital cameras and three-dimensional imaging to map out, compare and date the crosses. Sports now. In women cricket, the series decider match between Australia and New Zealand ended in a draw due to rain. Both the teams shared the T20 trophy. Former India skipper Mohammad Azharuddin feels wicketkeeper batsman Rishabh Pant might be a front-runner for the national team captaincy in the years ahead. After Steve Smith revealed that he is ready for another stint of captaining Australia, head coach Justin Langer has responded and said that the senior national team is in good hands and there is no captaincy position available in the near future. Germany lost a World Cup qualifying football game for the first time in 20 years on Wednesday as the 2014 champions were beaten 2-1 by North Macedonia. Spain got their World Cup qualifying campaign back on solid ground after countering to a leisurely 2-0 victory over Kosovo. Harry Maguire's late winner made it a maximum 9 points from 3 World Cup 2022 qualifiers for England as they overcame Poland 2-1 at Wembley. England manager Gareth Southgate said John Stones did well to bounce back from his howler against Poland that almost cost it its perfect record in World Cup qualifying. Antoine Griezmann's second-half goal was enough to give reigning world champion France 1-0 victory against Bosnia-Herzegovina. Scotland thrashed Faroe Island at HAMPDEN and claimed a first World Cup 2022 qualifying victory. Che Adams netted his first goal for Scotland. Eden Park in Auckland will host the opening game of the 2023 Women's World Cup, with the final taking place in Stadium Australia in Sydney. Rebecca Welch has become the first female referee to be appointed to an English Football League match as she prepares to take charge of the League 2 clash between Harrogate Town. Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva said that details of what caused Tiger Woods' car crash will only be released if the 15-time major winner gives permission for police to share their findings. Aiming to have more fans at this year's European Championship Games, UEFA on Wednesday ended its own limit on stadium capacity for matches it organizes during the coronavirus pandemic. Leading expert in crowd behavior believes allowing spectators into stadiums for the Euros could see coronavirus spread among fans. The Milwaukee Bucks ended a 3-game losing streak with a 112-97 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers, who lost debutant Andre Drummond to injury. The nominations for Britain's top music honours Brits have been announced, with women leading the nominations list. British phonographic industry's annual popular music awards known as Brits will be given way to winners in a ceremony in May. Singers Dua Lipa, Celeste and Arlo Parks led nominations for the Brits, with the three female singers scoring 3 nods each at Britain's pop music honours. Organisers said the 3 British women are all nominated in the female solo artist and album categories, with Lipa's Future Nostalgia, Celeste Not Your Muse and Parks' Collapse in Sunbeams records recognised. Chart topper Lipa, who will perform at the May 11 ceremony in London, will also compete for British single for Physical. Parks and Celeste will face off against DJ duo Bicep, DJ Joel Corey and rappers Young T and Buxy for Breakthrough Artist. DJ Joel Corey got 3 nods, including British single and male solo artist, among the nominations where dance and rap featured strongly. The album category also includes singer Jessie Ware's What's Your Pleasure and rapper-singer J Hus' Big Conspiracy. Other female solo artist nominees include Ware and Liane La Havas, Hus singer Youngblood and rappers AJ Tracy and Hedy Owen will compete for male solo artist. The British group nominees are Bicep, Biffy Clydo, Little Mix, The 1975 and Young T and Buxy. Music stars Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus and Cardi B are in the running for the International Female Solo Artist. The International Male Solo Artist category features Bruce Springsteen, The Weeknd, Tame Impala, Childish Gambino and Burna Boy. K-pop sensation BTS received their first Brit nomination for International Group, for which they will compete against Fontaine's DC, Foo Fighters, Haim and Run the Jewels. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.